Right, sometimes when we're working with equations and formulas, it's nicer if we have solved for a different variable because it's going to help us solve our problems easier. So at the end of this lesson, you'll be able to solve formulas and equations for other variables. Okay, we're going to start with a couple of review problems because this is going to make our solving when we go to rewrite equations a little easier. If I have 1/3 x equals 5 and I'd like to solve that, I could just divide both sides by 1/3 because that's what's by the x, but I'm going to teach you another way, just if you weren't familiar with it. The reciprocal of 1/3 is 3, so I'm actually going to multiply both sides by 3. And notice when I do that, 3 times 1/3, they cancel each other out, so I'm just left with x equals 5 times 3, which is 15. It kind of gets rid of the fraction work of the problem. Okay, on the second one, if we have 2/7 x equals 20, again, since there's a fraction, to get rid of it, the reciprocal of 2/7 would be 7/2, so that's what I'm going to multiply both sides by. So the 7/2 and 2/7 cancel out, so I'm just left with x equals, and then, excuse me, 20 times 7/2 is 70. So then my answer is 70. So we're going to use this to help us when we solve our problems to make it a little bit easier. Alright, so these problems you'll notice, I'll just read through the problem first. It says the area A of a triangle is given by the formula A equals 1/2 BH, where B is the base and H is the height. And it says to solve the formula for the height. So what we are going to do, we want to solve for the H because we might have a time where we want to find the height instead of the area. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to go ahead and write my formula down. If I want to get the H by itself, I don't want the 1/2, so just like we did in those previous two problems, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 because that's the reciprocal of 1/2. So these cancel each other out, so now I have 2A equals BH, and I want the H by itself. Well, since the B is right next to it, that means multiply, so to undo multiply, we're going to divide both sides by B. And so notice there's nothing I can do here because none of those variables are the same at all. So I'm going to have 2/B is equal to H. And notice it did say to solve for H, and I solved for H. Alright, the next part it says now find the height of a triangle which has a base of 14 and an area of 64 square meters. So we want to find the height. So I'm just going to put H equals 2 times A, they told me that the area was 64.4, and then divided by B, they told me that the base was 14. I'm not sure exactly what that answer is. I don't have my calculator on me, so I will let you figure out that answer, and that will be meters when we do that. Right, I did find out this answer is 9.2, so that's how the height of the triangle. Okay, this problem, we'll have one more. It's going to look a little scary, but I think once we work through it, it won't be too bad. You are visiting Toronto, Canada over the weekend. A website gives that the high temperature on Saturday will be 22 degrees Celsius and low temperature will be 14 degrees Celsius. Find the high and low temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit, because definitely you wouldn't know what to pack because you probably don't know temperatures in Celsius. So it says to use the formula C equals 5 ninths times F minus 32, where C is the temperature in degrees Celsius and F is the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So it wants us to find, I think that it would like us to find F, so we're going to solve this formula for F. So I'm going to start with C equals 5 ninths times the quantity 5 minus 32. Now usually we like to distribute the 5 ninths, but I'm going to say let's try a little bit different path. Just like we did on those previous problems, to get rid of the 5 ninths, let's just multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So on the left side I have 9/5 C, and then on the right side the 5 ninths and the 9/5 cancel each other out, so I'm just left with F minus 32. And now from here, to get F by itself, to get rid of the minus 32, let's just do plus 32 to both sides. So I'm going to have F equals, and then on this side, they're not like terms, so we can't put them together, so my answer will just be 9/5 C plus 32, and then that's all I need to do. And now, what we would like to do, it says we want to figure out what these would be, the 22 degrees Celsius and the 14 degrees Celsius. So now what I can do, we can do 9/5 times 22 plus 32. Let me do that real quick. 9/5 times 22 plus 32. That will give me 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit, so that gives me a better idea of what the temperature is going to be there. That will be the high temperature, and then the low temperature will do 9/5 times 14 plus 32. So let's try that. 9 divided by 5 times 14 plus 32. And that will give me 57. So then I'd know how to dress for going to Canada. So hopefully now you know how to rewrite an equation for a different variable.